G'day everyone. I just received a rather cool parcel from Andrew Medbury of Medbury Miniatures. Actually homegrown here in Australia, and the miniatures you can see in front of you are metal castings based off his 3D sculpts that he has cast up himself, and sent me some down to paint, and I'm really appreciative actually, because it is so cool to have another manufacturer in Australia. There aren't many, and I know Andrew's been doing a really fantastic job with his STLs and his Patreon, and there's he does some really great work, and I've been admiring it for quite a while, and happened to see that he'd been working on some sort of Vendel age, dark age stuff, and left a comment on his page, and it kind of sparked a bit of a conversation. So, and he sent me down some of the brand spanking new miniatures to paint. As you know, if you've been following my work, either my blog or my Facebook page or my YouTube channel, I've painted a lot of dark age miniatures over quite a few years, and yeah, it is one of my favorite all-time favorite eras to paint in. Now these are 28mm. And I'm going to do some comparison shots with some other ranges that I have to hand here. They're really lovely, clean sculpts, as you would expect, being brand new, hot off the presses, as it were. Fresh molds, minimal cleanup, if any, and really lovely. Now, I've put them on. They're just sitting there at the moment. They're just sitting on the 2mm MDF bases. People like to base in different ways. For me, this is the standard way I base. Most of the work I've done for people and for myself over many years has been on this sort of thickness of basing. And a lot of guys in the historical community tend to prefer this style of basing, but not, there's lots of other ways of doing it as well. But this one's quite popular, and you often get, actually, when you buy sets of Saga miniatures, you usually get the Renedra bases in plastic, 2mm thick ones as well, the 25mm round ones. So this is just not to say you've got to do it this way, but this is just like a typical basing, and so it makes it easier for me to do side-by-side comparisons with other miniatures I have here as well. So let's see. Now, I say they're Vendel era. Now, they would do for the early Scandinavian peoples. They do for early Anglo-Saxon peoples. I personally, I could see, I would be happy to use these from the 6th century right through to, look, I think some of them at a stretch, you could probably use them right through to the 11th century if you really wanted to. But there were changes in gear over those centuries, but a lot of things stayed the same. A lot of things were handed down, particularly swords and precious pieces of armour. But these particularly have that Vendel era styling. There's some really good examples of that on some reenactment groups on Facebook, I would definitely have these, like I say, expanding several centuries, you could get away with them as Dark Age warriors. Very, very cool. So I'll try and bring the camera up and over. As I say, these are white metal castings. For the details of the sale of these and everything, you really need to contact Medbury Miniatures. contact him via Facebook or his main website or wherever. And there's a number of places, you know, he has a Patreon and all sorts. I'm not here to tell you how you can get them. I'm just here to show them off, as I've just, you know, just received them. So he sent some spears that I can use. They do come with shields that he's sculpted as well. Now I think he's still figuring out what route he's going to go down with the shields and stuff, because some people might prefer to have a flat surface and maybe paint designs, I don't know, but these are certainly in keeping with that, you know, Sutton Hoo style and of shield designs and things like that, that sort of embossed and decorative things on them. Very cool, very cool. So there's a couple of different styles of shield there he's provided. Now let's see if we can get this. Look at that. Really nice Vendel style helmet with the mail over the face. Very cool. Lots of excellent crisp details. Nice cloak to paint up. And some of them have got like bits for you to stick in, like here. We have a sword arm. We'll just glue into there. A bit of super glue, or you could pin it if you really wanted to. Same over here. We've got, this guy requires an arm, so, and there's a little tab here with a couple of sword hands or forearms. Yeah, so there's two different options. I think that bottom one must go for him, and the one with more forearm exposed must be for this guy. So you've got this guy with he'd have his shield here and he'd have his sword raised up. You got another guy drawing his sword. Excellent, love the plaits and stuff like that, and the beards going on, and lots of lovely detail. Andrew's known for he has, I've seen a number of other sort of medieval stuff that he's been doing, and I know that some other YouTubers have featured his work, his medievals, and he's very well known for his Middle-earth style miniatures as well, which are superb. Love all that mail, and I'm really liking the way he's achieved that effect. You know, he's 3D sculpted. Some other manufacturers who 3D sculpt, I haven't been overly impressed with their rendition of mail. I haven't found it fine enough. It's been too chunky and stylized and looked like it's wire for a chook house. But this is really good, nice and fine, and yet, you know, we'll pick up that sort of dry brushing or whatever technique you want to use for mail. Some lovely detailing on the helmets here. Yeah. Superb. Really, really nice. Now, these over the back would all be spear armed guys. Just lift my camera tripod up over. There we are. So you've got this chap with his shield up and thrusting her underneath, behind. Excellent. Excellent work. Okay. So I guess for those of us who collect figures like these already, or already have an existing collection and are quite interested in adding to it, you know, the key question is, particularly for historical war gamers, is do they fit with my existing stuff? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just do some quick and dirty side-by-side comparisons, just to give you an idea of the sizing from some major sort of ranges, bearing in mind some companies use multiple sculptors and there can be variation in the sizing. Gripping Beast are a good example of that. You can get quite a variation between the different sculptors they've used over many years. Footsore Miniatures, their Dark Age range, most of it has been sculpted by Bill Thornhill, but they do use some other sculptors as well in more recent times. So I can only sort of grab what I've got to hand, and it should give you a fair idea though. So let's start with well, let's start with that classic miniature from the same sort of era that I use on my my icon. Okay, some focus would help. So you can see I think this is the Ayala figure. So but he's quite a broad guy and he's got a big cloak. So, but I would say he fits perfectly. You've got to allow for a little variation in guys, but I think he's absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on. And he is on the same sort of dimension, base size and everything. So that's a Bill Thornhill sculpt, a classic Bill Thornhill sculpt. I'll show you a couple more of Bill Thornhill's. So again, we've got this fella. And we've got this chap here, this Alfred of his. So yeah, you can see spot on, good size miniatures. They fit very nicely. Really happy. I'd be very happy to mix those. Absolutely. Okay, let's put those to one side. Now let's have a look at some others. Okay, let's have a look at some classic Colin Patton sculpts, which are Vendel era as well. Let's line up some guys, intersperse them a bit. Now these that I'm putting out now are still available from Gripping Beast, and Colin is still sculpting miniatures. His current company is Ragnarok Miniatures, and he's still producing beautiful work. But these are some of his work that he did for Gripping Beast, and just perfect. I mean, you've got this same sort of helm here going on. Look at that. Absolutely ideal. Absolutely ideal. Very pleased with those. Perfect fit, in my opinion. Okay, I'll get these Gripping Beast miniatures out of the way. As I said, Colin Patton sculpts. They do use a lot of other sculptors. Let me see if I can show you. This is the work of one of their other sculptors. This is Soapy. Andy Dormer, I think it is. Soapy Dormer. He sculpted a lot of their ranges as well. So a little bit taller. Soapy stuff's a little bit, perhaps a little bit taller. And, you know, stylistically quite different to Colin's work, but, you know, I think they fit just fine. Okay. Now let's have a look. Should have brought up some more bases, but I'll just take one of these guys off here. This is a more recent Colin Patton sculpt, not as recent as his current Ragnarok stuff, where he's doing Vikings style miniatures for that as well, and Vendel era miniatures. But this is Colin Patton's Saxon miniatures. Well, I would have bought this when he was running as Saxon Miniatures, and now Warlord Games own these. So these are effectively the Metal Warlord Games Dark Age figures. So perfect fit with what Medbury Miniatures has got here going on. Ideal. Okay, now this next guy I believe is from, I think this is an Artisan Designs Viking. Spot on. My eye. Looks really good. Artisan Designs. Now here's, oh, this one probably is a good fit too. This is a figure from, this is a Black Tree Designs miniature. They have quite a few Dark Age miniatures if you can get hold of them. They can be a bit hard to order from. But yeah, the old Black Tree ones, good fit. Now these might not fit, but they kind of don't fit with many other people's, maybe some older ranges, but these are Thanatos or something like that. It's a Dark Age range that was sold by North Star. I really love the miniatures, and they actually are for the early period. I think they're based around the poem Godothan, and some early artwork, you know, represents carvings of warriors and things like that. But they're a bit slimmer. They tend to be a bit slimmer, the Thanatos miniatures, and unless you already had them, you'd struggle to get hold of them at this stage, because they're out of production currently. But yeah, I got a couple of sets, so, but they still fit okay, I think. And on the slightly smaller side again, the Eureka Miniature Dark Ages figures, but actually that looks pretty good. Yeah, that looks like a pretty decent fit actually. These guys obviously are chunkier, but they're wearing full harness, as they say. They've got, you know, they're fully equipped. They've got mail, they've got their cloaks, they've got everything. So this guy's going to look a bit slimmer, isn't he? So that's a Eureka Miniatures. I think that's from their Beowulf set. And there's another Eureka Miniatures character here. There he is. So yeah, but he's stooping a bit, so it's a bit hard to tell. But oh look, I would mix those in. Well, let's see back here. This guy's, he does look a bit smaller when you look side by side. Yeah, and I would say on the whole that the Eureka Miniatures, they probably weren't for the time that they were done, but nowadays they are looking a little bit slighter than some of the modern ranges, particularly some of the more chunky plastics like the Victrix stuff. They seem to have crept up in sizing a bit, but yeah, so that gives you a bit of an idea. I have got other miniatures, but they tend to be, I've got some of the character miniatures from Gripping Beast, but there's some of the multi-part ones and that were done by other sculptors and such. But as you can see, these guys are a solid fit for the majority. I think you're going to find them a solid fit for the majority of ranges out there. I don't own any plastic Victrix miniatures because, as I said before, they're not really my thing. But I reckon you'd be right. You'd be fine with them as well. Yeah, excellent miniatures, and the plan is as I have time, is to get these painted up, and you're about to get a better idea of what they look like, and I'll do a bit of a showcase. That will be in a separate video. I'm not sure how long it'll take me because unfortunately I've hurt my back. I have a history of back problems, and this one's a bit of a variation on it. It's with spasms and stuff like that, and it seems to be I'm able, you know, some before that I've had trouble walking and things, but this one is one that really seems to conflict with my work. The sort of, you know, painter's stoop, as it were. Or, you know, I try to have my seating and everything and lighting and visual stuff all best as I can, but the very action of painting causes a lot of pain in my back, my sort of middle of my back, and yeah, it's quite painful. Been struggling along with it for over a week now, and yeah, hoping to see a physio, booked in to see a physio on Wednesday, so hopefully he can loosen up some of the muscles there. because yeah, it ain't fun. Those who have back problems, and I've had quite a number, lower back problems usually is my issue, with pain going down in the legs and things like that, but this one is upper, middle back, and wrapping around the rib cage, and when you get spasms, my goodness, it feels like you're being crushed. Not much fun, but anyway, there you go. Hoping and praying that get some relief from it soon, and as it is at the moment, painting is in fairly short stints, short sessions before it becomes just too painful to sit there painting anymore, and I have to do something else. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed seeing these cracking miniatures from Medbury Miniatures. As I say, to find out more, look up Medbury Miniatures on Facebook, or just Google him, and you will find your way to some more information about when these will be available, how they'll be available. Up until now, if you wanted Medbury Miniatures, you had to get them printed from a vendor, or buy the STLs and print them yourself. But now he has, for those of us old school guys who love our metal miniatures, he has, like Piano War Games and other companies as well, are turning those STLs into beautiful metal miniatures, and we're, I'm certainly appreciative of it, and I really enjoy seeing Andrew's work here. All right, guys, that's it for now. I hope you found that interesting, and I hope to have some more videos for you soon. Take care and all the best. Bye for now.